My name is Brianna, and one thing I love about video games is the storytelling elements in video games. I started playing video games when I was around 9, when I was able to finally have a controller in my hands. I used to just start watching my brothers play. My family really had a big emphasis on playing video games as a way to bond with one another. For video games I like to play, I usually stick with action-adventure type games, but if it has a good story, I'm more than willing to play it. If I have to choose one video game, I would say it would have to be Overwatch, just because it's the game that I keep coming back to, and I've had a very embarrassing amount of hours on that game. If I am allowed to choose another one, I would say Super Smash Bros. That is just a very fun party game that anyone can pick up and play, and it's just, there's not a big learning curve. You can just click buttons and you can still have the same experience. My favorite game console would have to be Nintendo 64, just because of how many memories I've had growing up and the different types of games and just the memories I've had with my family just playing that. Video games represent to me as a way to connect with family, a way to talk to others about your experience, because a lot of these games are story driven, and I really appreciate those games that have a strong story. Aspects about video game storytelling is that it's so unique to how you play it. I feel like what I'm doing has an impact in this virtual space. Action and adventure kind of games, they've gotten a lot more advanced, where you can explore. You have open world games. I just have such strong ties to video games due to my upbringing. What attracts me to retro games is the art style and just knowing where we came from. Games now versus in the past have changed significantly, mostly because we are now a lot more familiar with what we're doing. For the time, these were the best of the best video games. We were just starting with this medium of video games, and it's just really cool to see where we started and where we are now. One thing that really stands out to me is that these older games are actually made to be a lot harder than the games we have today. Because the games we have today, you can always hit the restart button. You can always hit the save and continue. Those first couple games, like Pong, it was just kind of a let's see if this works. One of my favorite pinball machines actually is the Indiana Jones action-adventure game, and it has the little lever you have to start the game is actually like a pistol, like Indiana Jones would have. My father and I have this tradition. Whenever we go to pinball machine places, I would put his initials down if I win. And if he wins, he'd put my initials down, just as a kind of hey, we beat you kind of thing. In the future, this is just my hope, is that we eventually have some sort of virtual treadmill of sorts, so I can walk around while my character's walking around. I would definitely lose a lot of weight that way if we was hooked up to a treadmill. But that's just my hope. I don't think it's going to happen anytime in my lifetime, but that would be really, really neat. So I just really, whenever I think of video games, I can't help but smile and think of my family, and how if I find a game nowadays, I'm oh, my brother would love this, or my friend would like this, and it's a whole big conversations piece.